I'm the Chief Enterprise Architect with MaxWorks Incorporated. This is the first in a series of webcasts about open source SOA. This one in particular will cover the motives for using open source SOA, the foundational principles, the role open source technology plays in realizing SOA solutions, and the great software development process that's used to develop SOA solutions. So this webcast is basically an overview of what is open source SOA. Let me first start by saying SOA is dead. Yes, I said that. It may seem like a shocking statement, but SOA, as we know it right now, the way it's actually being implemented in most of the places is in fact dead. By that I mean, the way SOA currently is being realized is as if it's an assembly line process. We do our analysis, we do our design, we do our coding, we do our testing, and that whole process, one iteration, typically takes years to produce SOA solutions. Now, because of that, that's a very slow and expensive way of doing things. In the economic recession, that just about kills the process. People don't want to fund something that's going to take years before any type of a return on investment is realized. Then on top of that, when we are doing SOA projects in that fashion, what we're doing is not necessarily producing things that can be seen as business value to the clientele and the stakeholders quickly. So they really aren't sure what SOA is, they aren't sure what the benefits are, and all this has done is create an environment where stakeholders are extremely skeptical. So that's why we say SOA is dead, or more precisely, assembly line SOA is dead, but not SOA. The business need for integration and the savings that can be rendered from that are not going away. That need is very definitely there. So since the business need is there for SOA type solutions, then what we need is a different way of delivering them. And that's what open source SOA is about. First of all, open source SOA technologies reduce costs such as licensing fees and the amounts of cost to maintain legacy software. They increase productivity and they produce reusable software that's platform independent. Open source SOA also has a process that produces something called open source SOA roadmap. Now, this is a way of saying this is all our policies we're going to follow to realize open source SOA solutions. It's our plan of action. So between the technologies and the roadmap, open source SOA has produced something that's allowed us to create solutions quickly and efficiently. So what are those principles that we're referring to? First one is business synergy. When we're producing a SOA solution with open source technology, we first want to realize some form of business synergy. A good example of this is peanut butter on one side and jelly on the other. You put the two together, you get a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So that's the business synergy. And what we're after with SOA is taking these different business functionalities, put them together, and realizing something that's different and that's very valuable to the enterprise. The second thing we're looking at in terms of principles is that we want to make use of agile methods. That's the notion of moving away from very large projects that take years to develop things and long iterations to very small iterations of analysis, design, and coding, and so forth, and delivering solutions in very short intervals. The other thing we want to take advantage of in terms of our principles here is making sure that we're realizing these things in terms of open source technologies. As I said before, we talk about taking advantage of the fact that there's no licensing fees, and it tends to increase productivity and quality. The last thing we're looking at in terms of principles is that we want to make sure that our projects are measurable. The idea is that if you can measure it, you can manage it. And also, if you can measure it, you can sell it. Now, the methodology we're using is something called GRACE. And what it's based upon is separating the problem from the solution. You can see in the diagram presented in front of you that what we're talking about is on the one side we have our requirements and our expectations being established, and on the other we have our solution. The nice thing about this method is that at the very high level of granularity, we have our roadmap, which is our overall plan for putting projects together. And then right beneath that, we have our project declaration. And the idea is that we're having a summarization of exactly what our project would be. There might be many projects inside a given roadmap. Then a project can produce products. Now the nice thing here is that we're separating the notion of a project from a product. That's because a project may produce more than one product, or a product may be produced by more than one project. So it's something different about SOA than typically your silo-based solutions. And then at the lowest level of granularity, if we have use cases. Use cases would be a particular instance where software is being delivered to realize some functionality for the user. So right here we have the ability to go from the smallest level of granularity up to the largest level of granularity in terms of rendering our solutions. So I'm going to thank you for your time, and you can contact us here at the phone number and URL given, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you.